hand the presentation over to Sam and Tyler at the construction trailer. I think, Sam, you probably got some photographs, give everyone an update on where the construction progress is, and then we can go over schedule, any questions that you might have. So with that.
Oh, you're good. That's a simple.
All right. Morning, everyone. I will share my screen here. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna kind of give an update from what's been going on since the last time we met a month ago. I got a couple aerial views. This was done, I think, like 2 days after our last meeting, so some stuff's changed from here. But the roofers, they are about 3/4 of the way done with the high roof area here. I got a few pictures of that to show you, and you'll see some of this veneer is done around the exterior of the building as well. But here's a couple area views just to give you an idea of really the amount of equipment that's up on the roof and the time that it took for that. There's a lot of rooftop units, and there's a screen wall structure that you'll see in a couple other photos here. So here's the south side of the building, 4th Street side. This is the mechanical room, and as you can see, the veneer is done around here. This part over here will get a screen wall or aluminum storefront. Once that's built, they got to get a little bit of stone up, but yep. So you can see that's coming along nicely here. Here's along the bridge. They got most of this veneer done. This little panel that's left out, that's where the steel cells will come in. And then they got the stone around the bottom side around the building here. Here's that. This is back on the 4th Street side. This is gonna be the ramp into the south side of the building. This is that storefront that I was talking about before. Here's some of the steel that was up for there. Here's the canopy at the receiving, some more steel. Now we're up onto the roof. This is above the rec area. You can see the roofers have been coming along pretty good. This is that screen wall structure that I was talking about to hide the rooftop units. There's another picture at the backing. There will be another aluminum panel that goes over the top of those. Here's another photo of the roofing that is taking place right now. This is the high roof area again. Here I just wanted to share a picture of kind of some of the security sleeves. Everywhere there's a ductwork going through, anything bigger than 8 inches of penetration through the roof, they need to put security sleeves in. So kind of show you what all went into that. There's a lot of work into that. Here's the bottom side view of one of those sleeves. So you can see the bars are in there. This is the Sally Port area. This slab will be getting poured on Thursday. The bulk of the slab on grade for the building is complete. There is, once this is done, there's the electrical room needs to be done, and then there's a little bit of topping at the mezzanine of the 2nd level. But other than that, we're pretty close to done with slab on grade. Yeah, here's a couple more pictures of the interior slab on grade.
Well, then maybe I'll do. You think that?
The masons, they're currently working on some of these interior walls that the cells butt up to. So they got to get. You can see kind of over these little embeds here, the cells, the enclosure plates actually weld onto there. So they need to get some of these interior walls up before the cells arrive. They also had to leave a decent amount of walls down so they can actually move the cells around once they get them into the building. So it took a good deal amount of coordinating. You can also see the mechanical, some of the mechanicals getting up. All the roof drains are obviously going to be completed before the cells are here to remove all the water off the roof. There's our wall that just went up. Here's that panel that was left off for the cells to be delivered. So there'll be a pad poured out here, a staging pad, and then the cells, they put them on casters and then they roll them into the building. Here's the rec room. Just showed some of the mechanical work that's getting done in there. This is, so I know we talked last week about or last month about the holes that were cut in the existing LEC, and some of the struggles with that. It was while keeping the jail running and dispatch and operation. We coordinated that with the county. Everything went fairly smooth there. A couple hiccups that we had to overcome, but here's kind of the end result. They had to get some structural beams up in the attic and then drop down some angle to support the precast for the holes that were cut. Here's an opening that was made bigger. This is going to be the new, we're actually looking from dispatch out in this view right here, but here's a structural steel that had to go up to support the precast for that opening that was made bigger. And then here's some of the framing that's going back up in that area. Yeah, so that's kind of what's gone on the last 30 days. Tyler, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's a good summary of what's been going on here the last month.
Did anyone have any questions about any of that before we move on to what's going to happen the next 30 days? Okay. So looking ahead to next month, the masons are going to continue to finish the interior walls that need to be complete. This will load just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about here. Anywhere that the cells butt up to a wall, that needs to be done ahead of time. So it's all these spots right in here. So they're going to continue that. The mechanical contractors, they're going to continue getting done what they can. Roofing, they are going to complete every area that's above the cells. I think this area may be completed after the cells arrive, but everything that's above the cells will be completed in roof drains as well. The excavators, they are going to start tomorrow. And they are, so this is kind of where the job trailer is over here. So they're going to start digging in this infiltration tank, which takes care of all the stormwater off the roof. So that's going to start tomorrow and last about a week. From there, starting on October 5th, so next Wednesday, is that?
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, they are going to begin the 3rd Street utility work. So they have a sanitary line here and a sanitary line here that has to tie into 3rd Street. So that'll be 10/5 to about 10/12. And on 10/17, October 17th, we have the steel cells are going to arrive. And I know, as we talked about, we have that panel left open over here. So they are going to be setting up a crane along the bridge, and then their trucks are going to be coming on 3rd Street, and they'll be craning that in. So with that said, we have a road closure beginning next week, Monday, to accommodate the utility work that needs to happen. So Steve's been involved with this, and the city, I've already passed it along to the city, and it's been approved by the city engineer as well and the city planner. But so starting next week, Monday, we're going to be closing down this section of 3rd Street. So from Washington Street until about under the bridge. The Fastenal lot will still have access to, and the county lot will have access from this side and the Second Street side as well. That road closure is going to last a duration of 3 weeks. They have roughly a week of utility work, a week of getting the road back up, and then we have it down for a week for when the cells are here, because there's a lot of activity happening on that street. So for public safety reasons. So just wanted to bring that up. I know Steve is going to relay this information to the local newspaper as well. So, yeah, that's kind of what's happening in the next 30 days. Did you have an add on to that, Tyler?
No, no, I mean, we're continuing with veneer and everything with that too. And obviously cells for that week of the 17th will be a busy time when we get that. And once they have pretty much a week of install, and then after that, MEPs and plumbers, all that stuff, they'll have a couple months of work of roughing all those in. There'll be an immense amount of work back in there. So it'll be key to get those on site and get the plumbers and electricians and everybody rolling on getting those cells connected and hooked up. So be a lot going on here in the next couple months.
Is there any questions on any of that?
What's the percentage that you're given for completed on the jail now then?
I think we were right about 50,
Yeah.
between 55 and 60%. Right around, call it 60%.
Okay.
Probably pretty close to what it is. Obviously, there's a lot of, it's like structure wise, it's all coming up. But then, as we get to enclose windows on and the roof watertight and building watertight, then basically there's a pretty immense amount of security, electronics, just, wires pulled, duct, all the kind of finish, and then the finish stuff too. So there's a lot of interior work that will be happening. I would say it's 50 to 60% is probably pretty fair.
We're getting back into the realm of freezing conditions at night. What's the plans for completing the exterior masonry work and things like that?
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get to, obviously tonight or whatever. I think it's tonight. It's going to be a cool night, but it's basically, there's a code on it that when it's X degree overnight to the high temperature in the day, there's a certain gap that once it starts hitting that, then we actually have to start heating either material, product, or enclosing it, which we won't be hitting yet. So we're hoping that, obviously the weather, I would say probably typically our typical date is around November 1st or 2nd, somewhere in there is when we start planning for temp enclosures and heating the veneer. So we're hoping we're sitting, getting wrapped up pretty close before we actually have to do any winter conditions on the veneer. So we should be avoiding it. That's the plan, is to keep on. Obviously it's up to Mother Nature, but if we have to just enclose and then start pumping heat onto the walls to get the veneer and everything on there.
Okay, but the hope is that the weather will be average and you'll be able to be ahead of it.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, and speaking of that, then we've got temp heaters coming here. We've got that lined up, and then we're getting the natural gas hooked up for the county. So we're using natural gas to just do temp heat for the interior of the building too. Obviously, we don't have air handlers for any of the units up on the roof, which we typically try not to use anyways, so we don't contaminate them. But then we'll have temp heat rolling here as soon as the temps drop enough too. And it's good once we get those cells in there and we get that opening buttoned up. And with the roof on, the heat loss won't be as bad once we get some windows on there too. So that's the plan, is to start pumping some heat in as soon as the temps start dropping inside too.
When were you hoping to have it like buttoned up, meaning that like the windows and the doors where it is actually all sealed then? Is that by November that you're actually shooting for that with the windows and the doors?
The Windows portion of it, I think we have them scheduled in November right now. I think or end of October, November. Yeah, it's kind of right there. If we have to do temp enclosures, basically just frame it up with 2Is and poly it. If we have to, just until as the windows are getting installed. Obviously, we don't put any finished material until it's watertight, but yeah, I would say it's once they're on site, they probably have a few weeks. The goal would be Thanksgiving that we're buttoned up, watertight. It all depends with getting that access panel on the west side there buttoned up too. But yes, I would say end of November it would be a goal to have a watertight building. And that's why we're pushing to get this site, these retention ponds or basins in, because obviously the roof drains are hooked up now, so we need the water to go somewhere. So that's why we're trying to push to get this utilities in right away. Yeah. Any other questions on anything that's going on?
Danielle, did you have anything to add? Or?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's probably, we hadn't been giving, I know we've been giving progress updates in terms of the progress or the construction, but probably worth noting in terms of contingency that I think we're tracking as or similar to the percentage of completion. So I know there's been some questions on have there been any bumps in the road? And yeah, there's been a few things that have come up that we're using the contingency for some existing conditions that have come up. I know we all talked about at the beginning of the project, the soil correction work, but that's slowed down substantially. I would say that was probably the biggest one, but just that there are things that come up and that contingency is still there and being used as we need it.
Yeah, I think for how much we had to use on soil corrections early on, knock on wood, we're sitting well still for the progress for how much we had to use early on in the project.
Well, that's all I had, other than stating that the next meeting is scheduled for October 25th. So that's a Tuesday at 9 a.m. Any other questions? Okay, well, I think hearing none, we can adjourn today's meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.